for yawning because I wrote this in the class. And I really want to thank my mom for always telling me that I was a writer, looking at me and just saying, you're a writer. And my mom's a writer, she's sitting right there, and I love her. And I love my friends here at Drew, and you guys have supported me so much. And I wouldn't be the writer I am without you. I love you. This essay, oh, and also from Meredith, this essay's about her. I love her. I love my twin sister, and I'm going to throw that out there. All right. This essay is called Ghost in the Machine. Are you guys identical? We don't know. Do you feel each other's pain? I don't think so. I guess I don't know. Do you ever wake up and forget which one you are? What? I've always wanted a twin. That last one always gets me. Everyone says it. I wait for it at the end of every conversation that starts with, I'm a twin. I ask them why. They say it would have been nice to have a friend growing up, someone their own age they could talk to. Inside their heads, I imagine they're watching the Parent Trap, cute skinny blonde girls dancing and singing in unison, convincing their parents with identical smiles to let them stay together forever. Having a twin means having someone who's always there for you, someone your age who will want to do everything you want to do. It means being exciting and different and having the world be in love with you. Some of these things are true. For me, being a twin meant knowing from an early age that the people around me, even the ones I loved the most, would not always know who I was. Though my parents generally got our names right, there was the occasional mishap. And if our babysitters or relatives called us by our given name, it was generally no more than a good guess. By elementary school, I took it as a personal insult when someone called me Meredith. I'm Rachel, I would snap indignantly. The perpetrator would smile, oblivious to my outrage. Sorry, they would say. Wow, you guys look so much alike. Sometimes I would smile to be polite. Sometimes I would say nothing at all. I was disappointed and angry that they got to have a unique appearance that went with their unique soul. Angry that I was powerless to control the way I was perceived by others. Frustrated that my body had so much power to define me. I could become Meredith in an instant. I could become no one. I could become anything anyone told me I was. Being a twin didn't seem to have the same effect on Meredith's sense of self. Though it annoyed her slightly, she didn't seem to need outside validation the way I did. While I was desperate to have friends over, Meredith was content to spend time by herself. Once I remember looking for her in the yard. She was walking the edge of the forest and staring ahead, humming softly to herself. There was a power about her even then. What are you doing? I asked as I approached. She shrugged. Want to play a game or something? She shook her head. I kind of just feel like playing by myself right now, she said. As we became teenagers, I continued to admire and envy this force in my sister. She seemed ready to fight the unfairness of our world single-handedly. In the wake of our parents' divorce, Meredith was the hero. I stood behind her, nodding as she made demands for us. She stood up to our father when his hands shook and his eyes bulged. She asked her mother why the prayer book had been taken down from our doorway and why we weren't celebrating Hanukkah. At school, it was the same. There was a pride in my sister that I witnessed hungrily. When a group of popular girls threatened to beat her up, threw me actually because they thought I was her. She rolled her eyes and smirked. How do you do it? I asked her one day when she was doing her homework at the kitchen table. How do you not care what other people think? Meredith thought for a moment. I just tell myself I'm strong, she said, and I believe it. Once I actually tried this method to no avail. In the girls' bathroom, I remember staring angrily at my reflection in the mirror. Tears blurred my vision and I could barely see my reflection. I'm strong, I thought. I'm strong. I don't care what anyone says about me. I hoped that some kind of magic would take place, that the sureness my sister seemed to embody would course through my veins and make me different, make me a beautiful, proud, apathetic warrior like she seemed to be. Nothing changed, though, and somewhere inside of me I understood that it was because the words were only half of the spell. I had to believe them. I had to give them permission to represent me, and I wanted to. I wanted to give myself permission to be Rachel, whether people knew I was or not, to be good enough regardless of competing definitions, but I didn't know how. By high school, I'd given up my pursuit for a solid identity, and instead spent my time trying to make myself as invisible as possible. The strength I had observed in my sister throughout middle school, I now accepted as an impossible goal. I could not avoid the altering of my sense of self by others, and so I would take it away from them completely. I would be nothing, and there would be nothing to manipulate, nothing to hurt. This is how I would get control. I found that if I stopped talking, or moving, or making eye contact, most people would ignore me. and this seemed like a pleasant alternative to the uneasiness I'd experienced throughout middle school. Obsessed with erasing myself, I would devote entire classes to fantasizing about living in a magic bubble that no one could see inside. I began to experiment with hunger, exactly when I don't remember, and then it happened. Like the magic I always wanted, I had a name. Everyone seemed to know I was Rachel, the skinny twin, an identity that no one could argue with. And suddenly I felt a pride that I had never felt before, and a relief I had never known. I never meant for my new identity to hurt Meredith, but when it did, I couldn't bear to give it up. I knew it was happening to her even before people said things like, the fatter one? Because I understood, as all twins understand what happens when one twin stands out. The comparisons began and worth gets distributed accordingly. If I was the thin twin, Meredith was the fat twin. If I was the worthy twin, Meredith was the unworthy twin. The fact that she was not fat or unworthy was inconsequential to the masses. They would label us as they always had in an attempt to tell us apart, and we would be powerless to stop them. This bothered me. I knew what it felt like to be on the uncomfortable end of these comparisons, but I refused to let it dilute my newly generated confidence. After all, Meredith had never had any trouble holding on to herself. She could handle this, I thought, and it seemed only fair that I get to experience the sense of self she had always known. Thanks a lot.